My name is Mary Holt, and I'm on the board of the Big Island Historical Society, and I'd like to welcome you to this evening's Ellsworth Miller's Memorial Lecture. And the Board of Trustees wishes to thank Cap Leonard for his establishing the lecture series and his continued support. Also worthy of great appreciation is Richard Hackle, who continues to impress us with new tech and ideas that help us to bring our program to others through Zoom. Tonight, I think we're live streaming a performance for the first time rather than someone standing at the lectern. And for those who wish to support the efforts of the Historical Society, you may donate online at shebighistory.com. Before commencing with the lecture, I wish to acknowledge and honor the Indigenous people who were first to inhabit Shebig, forage its fields and forests, and fish its waters. Questions relative to the lecture will be addressed following the lecture. Please, those of you on Zoom, type questions in the chat box and select to everyone. Please turn off your video and your mute your audio during the lecture. So tonight, our lecture is brought to us by Dwayne Tomah. He is a language keeper. He is director and curator of the Sifaya, that's it, Museum, and teacher of the Passamaquoddy language and culture. He is the youngest fluent speaker of the Passamaquoddy tribe and has served on the tribal council. He has also worked with Animal Planet on a segment called Winged Creatures, highlighting the history of the thunderbird. His life has been dedicated to working on the language and culture preservation. He has edited the Passamaquoddy Dictionary and worked to help create the Apple, the Passamaquoddy Language App. He shares native legends through song and dance. Dwayne is currently working with the Library of Congress on translating the Passamaquoddy wax cylinder. These recordings are the first recordings in the world of native languages. They were recorded in 1890 by Jesse Walter Fuchs, who borrowed the device from the inventor, Thomas Edison. Dwayne has also been involved in repatriation and land vacations. He shares historical truth regarding the doctrine of discovery by an Indigenous perspective, which we learned from Dwayne back in November, I believe. So I am now very delighted and proud to present to you Dwayne Tomah.
Wait, Dwayne was Dwayne Tomah. No jail, she buying up at Madocmigo. And you will lead a house, yelling, Gil while you bet you out the Gil while you bet Giscot. Come on, no lead a house. Ellie bet you out the Gil wall. Now, a school man, you see, get that, we stood as a chief lead one. My name is Dwayne Tomah from the Passamaquoddy tribe. I'm from Madocmigo, and I'm also from Pleasant Point. It's an honor for me to be here with you today to be able to share some hidden secrets. Also share some historical moments, share some songs, share some stories, and maybe you get to understand what wax cylinders are. You'll be able to see a little bit about the culture, the language. So I just want to let everybody know that it's customary in our territory, in our homelands, to welcome you. Nulazik Wolfen in our language means we welcome you. That is customary. It's traditional of our people to welcome each and every one of us. I heard the words since I've arrived here, really, nice to hear is in my ear. Let me give you an example of some of the words and the language that I'm hearing, because I'm a language guy, so I pay attention to when someone speaks. Let me give you an example. I heard diversity. I love it. Diversity. It's amazing, isn't it? Getting to know another group of people. And we're here today, tonight, to share some of our culture with you. There is a rich spirit here on your island. I just want to share that with you. This is my first time ever being here on this island. And when I arrived on this island, I felt ancestral presence here. What you're doing, how you're taking care of our mother, and how we're building relationships, and how we're being with each other. They're watching. When we talk about death, there is no death. They didn't go nowhere. They're still here. Watching us, guiding us. These are all stories of our people that have been handed down for thousands of years. And I want to share with you a synopsis. Those of you that are not familiar, but we have 5 tribes in Maine. We have the Passamaquoddies, Mesquite, and we have Micmac, Mi'kmaq, and we have the Maliseet, Wolastoqiyik, and then we also have the Penobscots, Bunwapsqueweek, and also the Abenaki, Abenaki. They're all here in this area, and we've existed here for over 12,000 years. And what a wonderful time for us to be here today, to be able to share intellectual knowledge that's been handed down for thousands of years. These are old stories and songs of our people. Let's start from the beginning. In 1890, has anyone ever heard of an Indian agent?
Yes.
The term Indian agent. I want to talk about a little bit about an Indian agent and what his role is. An Indian agent was given specific instructions to carry out some of the missions from a lot of the institutions and the government. So we have a gentleman by the name of Wallace Brown in 1890, and his wife, Helen Brown, with the help of Mary Hemingway, they invited a gentleman by the name of Jesse Walter Fuchs to Calais, Maine, with Thomas Edison's wax cylinder machine. We were actually the first indigenous people in the entire world to be recorded. Nobody knows these things for a reason. No one's ever heard about that. These are untold stories of our people. Untold stories. We started to get smarter, to understand what was going on. So we researched. We got that information and brought it back to our homeland. And once again, to share it with others. Because the cultural concepts and the stories that have been handed down for thousands of years, we can all identify with. But because of society and its divisions and all the different colors that they put on things, all these titles, names, everything, dividing us. Dividing us. So today, what we're going to share with you is customs and traditions about unity. We'll dock at welcome You're going to hear those words in the language a lot here tonight. Oh, dark el wagon. That's a very important word. That is ceremony. Ceremony is very important to our people. Customs, traditions, knowledge that's been handed down for thousands of years, we're continuing to do that, despite what's happening around us in society. When I came here today and I saw those shell mittens, very emotional. Very emotional. The presence of my ancestors. And I want to thank you, Katie, taking me on this tour. And also want to thank you for the love that you've shown for these mittens.
Thank you. What an honor.
I really mean that. Because I felt the presence that day. And I know you want to do more. Sometimes our hands get tired. Okay?
Yes.
It happens. I can identify with it, our hands being tired. But we, as human beings, are the ones that can take those off. We stick together. Loosen our hands. Your hands are tight right here. Some of you's hands are the same way. The more we have this discussion, the more we have a deeper understanding of what's going on around us and our relationship with our mother, the more we're going to deeper understand and connect. And I know this is all part of the teachings that are in these wax cylinders as well. So these teachings are all there. So today what I want to do is, first of all, I think I'm feeling like giving gifts today. For some reason, it's just feeling, I was going to wait till after, but no. First of all, this is part of work that we're doing in our homelands where we're renaming our homeland. Ancestral names. So this is a map that have ancestral names on them. And we're working throughout here in Maine or anywhere that wants to listen and that wants to work with us to do the right thing. So there's your map. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. And also, here's your map. Oh. Because, and also, I only have like a few left, so please don't be offended if you don't get one. I just want you to know that. So I'm just going to randomly just give them to people, okay? I don't know everybody here, so I really don't. Okay? So I really don't know anyone, so. Okay, so I'm just gonna randomly give them to people, okay? All right. Now, is anybody that really, really wants one that, you know what I mean, that this is the last one, so who wants it? Okay, good. There you go. There you go. Thank you very much. So I just want to show a few of these magazines also to let you know that we've got a lot of notoriety in here. I've also gone to Library of Congress to be able to document this stuff because the first time they actually saw someone in Library of Congress to be able to say what was in these cylinders. Oh, wow. That's fun. Yeah, so I just want to share with you a little bit of history of how this all started. Those of you who are familiar, you probably heard the name Dwayne Tomah before. Well, he's a good friend of mine, a colleague of mine, and he is actually the director of the museum at Indian Township. Well, I've heard of these wax cylinders before, and I was just young at the time, and I heard a cassette tape, and I was young at the time. And then probably 20 years later, Dwayne Tomah says, "Listen, we got these wax cylinders." I said, "Yeah, I heard those wax cylinders." And then he gives me this books of stuff, and he said, "Here, study these." I'm looking at him, thinking to myself, I already knew what it said because I'm a fluent speaker in the language. So I was like, I don't need to study these, John. This is, I already said what they are, and I told him what they were. He goes, wow, guess not. And then, so he gave me the job to lead the wax cylinder project. 2 weeks later, I had to go to the Library of Congress to do a presentation. Didn't have much time. So I had to learn a lot of these songs, okay, to be able to sing them. So it's actually online on YouTube, my presentation there. And if you was to listen to that, you would think that I would have known those all my life. I immediately connected with these songs. I can't explain to you how it happened like that, but it just happened. The song just came out. And when I started to share it with some of the elders, some of the older elders, some of them were saying, oh, this song sounds so familiar. 130 years later, we're singing ancestral songs and stories of our people. And also the context of this stuff and the methodologies of what they were thinking to preserve. First of all, let me share with you the first cylinder that was introduced by Jesse Walter Fuse. He was actually just testing this machine, okay? And let me just, before I do that, let me just show you this real quick so that way you guys get to understand what this wax cylinder is. This particular wax cylinder here is a 1901 Amberola, Thomas Edison edition. So this particular machine does not record, but it does play. So let me just get it on that first before I. So it's spring loaded. So in other words, you have to wind this, okay? Wind it up, okay? If you can't, don't wind it too much. Then you get it started here. So if you can imagine, right? If you could imagine what the tribe was thinking at that time, listening to their voices. Are you crazy? Hearing our voices for the very first time in the world, to hear your voices. Can you imagine what the people were thinking at that time? And also, if you think about the trust, somebody had influence at that time to bring Newell Joseph, Peter Selmore, the Passamaquoddy tribe, and a group of people with them. This is the actual photo of the actual spot where this was taken. And in the film that's coming out here, October 24th, stay tuned. It's coming out here. PBS followed me around for a whole week. We're coming up with a film. It's called Native America Season 2 on PBS. It's coming out October 24th. Very, very nice film, by the way. But this is the actual photo right here. So they trusted these guys, had some faith in them. They had the vision, long-term vision of preservation. They trusted them. And look where we are today, 130 years later. Because of that vision, I'm singing Oldok Elwagan ceremonial songs that normally would have been lost. And a lot of the components that are in these songs, you can still hear them, different fragments of it. The songs, you can still hear them. And they're still alive today after 130 years. Well, let me share this one particular cylinder with you. This one here, like I said, was the first one that they actually recorded. Guess what? Hey, sorry.
Let's try it again. The other third of the giant, can be impressive with you so that I understand the one. Tonight, they first gentleman from the Passamaquoddy guys is come over to you and to hear the song which was done by Peter Selmore and go into it and some of the stories Peter told. I am very glad to say that you caught it to hear stories which I have taken challenge about a year ago so nicely that he is able to understand them. And I think that shows that the photograph can be the story for a very long time. Our photograph is a talking machine. It was invented by Thomas Alva Edison. We give up a yacht. You could not do it in a light, or you could get liberally to navigate with reproducing. That's the one thing. God is photograph with the scale one. I brought it on the photograph in order that we can see what you can do with it. No, you goodbye, this photograph.
See all the scratching going on? See, a lot of the digitalization and the enhancement, it's quite a process to be able to actually hear audibility. So that's the reason why an elder actually took 4 of those cylinders and he actually completed them. But since then, they sat on the shelf for many, many years. So because of the digitalization and the enhancement, it made my job a little bit easier. A little bit easier. So what I want to do is just go over some of the titles of these cylinders. And also I want to make note that some of the titles that were used in this particular cylinders weren't correct. And the reason why is because they really didn't understand what they were saying. I was able to identify those titles immediately once I laid my ear on them. They named, I'll share one of the songs in a little bit here, what they named, and it wasn't the proper title. So we've been, since then, changing all of that. But just to give you an idea of the content, because there's a lot of cylinders here, we can't go through all of them, but what I'll do is I'll name some of the titles so you get an idea of some of the titles that they would use. First of all, this one that I just showed you, the introduction to the wax cylinders. Then they had the one called Fisher and Sable. And then they had another one called Medicine Man. And then they had another one called the Snake Dance Song and Dance, which I'm going to share with you tonight. And then we had the Swamp Woman as well. And then we had the Fisher and Sable Old Song. And then we had the Numbers, Days of the Week, and then an Old Song. And then we had another one, just Animals. And then we had another one, Gluska Stories, which is Gluska was a legendary figure in our tribe, where he's the one that shot the bow into the ash tree. And that's how we came to be. All the people came out of the ash tree. These are all stories that have been handed down for thousands of years, that we came from the ash tree. That's why you see all the baskets. We're connected. We're all weaved into it. It's all part of that. Very important. Very important. And it's our connection with our mother, showing that deep respect for the ash tree. Only taking what you need. Doing the ceremony when you're picking the strawberries. Honoring the strawberries. Providing. It's that deep connection. And these stories demonstrate that over and over and over again. And then we have another one. It's called The Story of the Raccoon. Some of these are poor audibility, just thought I'd share you. That's one of them, the poor audibility one, is number 12. And then we have, this one here I'm going to share with you, is called the Death Song. But they named it Salutation. But it's really a death song, ceremony. And this is part of the stuff that I was able to pick up. And then you have the Lux and the Three Fires, Sable and the Fisher. These are all stories from Newell Joseph, Peter Selmore of the Passamaquoddy tribe. Passamaquoddy stories. Damaguji Nidabasses is one of them. Means, where did you go, my friend? Is one of the stories and songs. Where did you go, my friend? Telling a story in songs. You got the Swamp Woman, which is another one that was very poor audibility. Then you had the English speaking describing the snake dance. So you had Jesse Walker Dix describing the snake dance based on the information that he heard from the Passamaquoddy people and his contact and connection he made with the people. Lux and the Three Fires is another one. The Medicine Man, Passamaquoddy stories, Passamaquoddy words, ancient war songs. Ancient war songs. And greeting songs. Fisher and the Sable, Gluskab and the Animals. These are all a whole list of the stories that are comprised with this wax cylinder. So this first one I want to share with you is really a really important one. Atpuziswewagan. Atpuziswewagan in our language means snake dance ceremony. And the reason why these ceremonies were done was this. They would have a leader in the tribe that knew a lot of the dance and songs. And he would go into a room. He would try to entice people to come to join him. Dance. Come and join us to dance. We're dancing. We're going to eat. We're going to gather. We're going to celebrate. We're going to talk about common problems. We're going to talk about our mother and our relationship with our mother. We're going to talk about all these things. And when we talk. And we sit in a circle to show respect. Because everybody's seen in the circle. You notice in the circle, everybody is seen. Nobody is higher than anyone. Everybody's on the same level. Nobody has a big title. It's coming from here and relating to one another, talking. And we would talk for hours and hours, even days, until we get consensus. I know some of you are thinking, oh my God. I know that. These are customs, traditions. It's almost like when you get up in the morning, when you put your shirt on, you put your shirt on the same way every morning. You can't tell me any different. That was all part of it. Everything, every day, connecting with one another, one another, one another. If I did not shake your hand in here when you came in this room, raise your hand.
My mom away.
Thank you. Nice to meet you. Thank you so much for being. That right there, folks, is so important. Acknowledging one another, connecting one another. It doesn't matter what a person looks like, where they come from. It doesn't matter. I love these guys up here. I'm sorry to put you guys on the spot like that. I apologize, but good for you guys. And I'm so glad you guys are here. Okay? Thank you so much, okay? And you as well, my friend. Thank you for being, I really appreciate that very much. That's where it begins right there, folks. You guys all know that I'm speaking to the choir. Okay? So this particular one is called the snake dance. And I'm gonna explain to you exactly what it's saying. My eyes aren't that great, so bear with me.
This song is scripted by Louis Jordan of the Passamaquoddy tribe, Colored Snake, March 1890.
Whenever we want to dance, they would inform us. Everybody was informed. Who's gonna sing? We're gonna dance. And we're gonna dance and the food is cooking. Oh, we're gonna eat. Oh, so much food. It just started to get dark. We just got done eating, everything was ready. We start getting around, we start going like this. Just like that. Gathering people. We'd all come together. All of us. Everyone would come together. Sing these songs. Not getting, I don't know. Rattle that you see here is what they would use. They would use a rattle. They would bring the people in to sing these songs. And this is what we actually come out of the cylinder. This is what I extracted out of the cylinder. Where we are, you notice my feet correcting our mother. It's correcting her. You notice the beat. The beat is one hard, one soft. Just like our heartbeat. That is the heartbeat of our mother. These are all traditions that have been handed down for thousands of years. And this here, folks, is what connects each and every one of us, is our hearts. That is why it's so important to come from here rather than here. We got to get out of here and come from here. There is a distinct difference. There really is. Connecting with one another, sharing traditions, getting to know each other. These are all customs and traditions of our people. That's why it's so important for us to share this knowledge, to come together. That's why I invite each and every one of you to come to our homeland. Come to the museum. Come to our gatherings. Guess what's going to happen when you come? We're going to feed you. We're going to feed you. It's just a tradition. It's a custom. It doesn't matter. We're going to feed you. Celebrate with you. Sing with you. Despite all the things you've heard, don't pay attention to them. That's only a way of dividing us. There is still an undercurrent there, folks, that wants to divide our communities. We've seen it. I'm sure you face it here in this community as well. I know that. But guess what? The more we talk, the more we build relationships, the more we gather, the more we eat, the more we get to know each other, things change. That's how things happen. You guys know that. Okay, now this next one I want to share with you. This next cylinder is a very important one, by the way. And this is the one that they titled. They call it a salutation. And this is a death song. When a chief would pass on, they would designate a Ginwat Dosset in our language. Ginwat Dosset is the messenger. The messenger knows the songs, he knows the stories, he knows the land, he knows the layout of the land, he knows where to go to give the message. So what they would do is, historically, our village would get all the other villages, they would designate our chief. We never got to designate our chief. All the other villages got to designate our chief. And vice versa. We would designate theirs. Keep that political stuff from festering. Okay? Safety provisions, long-term visions. All these is part of that. So what they would do is they would get a messenger. George would the best in a witness. Nagabaja zugin what the meat market. Nagarajiki whack to one meat market. Ali matching heads on. And after the best in the witness, Nagabaja zugin what the Najiki whack to one lost to weeko. Ali matching heads on. And after the best in the window, Nagabaja zugin what the one what's going weeko. Nagagin whack one what's going weeko. Ali matching heads on. Nagabasket mo kadiganan. Najiki whack to one. He would get in his canoe and he would paddle up the river. And there would be this flag in the front signifying what was going on. All the people on the banks would stand in respect. Gichi midahad mawagan in our language means respect. So Gichi midahad mawagan, Gichi is the best thoughts I have for you. Gichi midahamo. It's respect. All built in the language. And he would go up there and inform all the people. And they would come down to the river together. Go to the place where the chief had passed. And he would sing the song. Oh, so I'll never you. You tell your man, and look, we're going down to the river together. He was just here. You day open, he was just here. Signifying at that morning the loss of the chief. When they arrived to the village, you'd have the person standing there in front of all the leaders, singing these songs. Singing the snake dance song, bringing people together, singing the morning song, and also a very significant one. Everyone who did. Welcome. Everybody gets welcome. Very important to our people. Now I'm going to share with you what the actual cylinder actually sounded like.
Children, taken by day order Houston on a 50th day of March 1890.
Okay, this next one I'm going to share with you is called Nida Bass's song. Nida Bass's is my friend. So what he's describing in this particular cylinder here is describing, where have you been, my friend? Where have you been? Just like I'm asking you guys the same question. Where have you been, my friends? Absolutely wonderful. I love it. Love the idea. Connecting. But where have you guys been? Wonderful. I love it. Okay, that's my friend. So he just describes basically over and over about friendship. Relationship. That's so important. Friendship and relationships. Now, if we take it a step back further, there was friendship, treaties even formed, friendship treaties, agreements. All these things were very significant to our people. Friendship treaties, can you imagine it? Friendship treaties. They went to that extent to put it in writing that our relationship with one another is very important. And we must stand by that relationship and stand by that document. Very important. Your word is your word. Not. At this time, I would really like to have a Q&A, so to speak, and maybe answer some questions, or if there's anything that I could talk about. I'd really like to open it up to the floor if there's anybody. And if there isn't, I really appreciate your time being here, that's for sure. So is there any questions that I could entertain? Sure.
So on your friendship treaties, were those treaties between individuals, or were they treaties with other tribes or other groups of
Other tribes and other groups, absolutely, yes.
Was Passamaquoddy a written language?
Well, that's a good question. In the 1960s, there was a gentleman by the name of Philip Lesord, a linguist, as well as Robert Levitt, as well as Dr. Wayne Newell, which comprised a writing system for the Passamaquoddy people. They came up with 17 letters in the alphabet, and they used these different sounds compatible